Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. A's Geometry course. Today we are covering section 10.6, which is all about special segment relationships within circles. Let's get into it. We're starting off here with a little review of all of our segments. We need to know the names and be able to identify all the special segments of a circle. First of all, this is circle Z. We have a point that appears to be the center. We assume that it is, that's point Z, so we call this circle Z. There are segments in here that are a radius, like ZB. Remember, that's a segment that goes from the ring to the center of the circle. This CZ is also a radius. This AZ is also a radius. We have a diameter, which is a segment that starts on the circle, ends on the circle, and goes through the center. So there's a diameter AC. We have a chord, AD here. That is like a diameter, but it doesn't go through the center of the circle. So it starts on the ring, ends on the ring. AD is a chord. We have a secant, which is line M. That is a line that intersects the circle at two locations. It goes through the circle. That's called a secant. And then we have a tangent. Any line that appears to only hit the circle one time, we can assume does only hit the circle one time. And therefore line N here is a tangent line. The first relationship we're learning here is the segments of chords theorem, which says that the product of the lengths of the segments from one chord is equal to the product of the lengths of the segments from another chord inside of the same circle. So as we look at the blue chord here, the segments that it's been split into are A and B. If I get the product of those, I would be multiplying them together, A times B, and that will be equal to the corresponding product from the other chord. So the other red chord is split into a C and a D. We get the product of those and they will be equal to each other. A times B equals C times D. Let's see what this looks like in practice. We have two chords here intersecting. One chord is split into a 9 and a 3. The other chord is split into an 18 and an X. And again, the idea here is that the segments from the same chord, 9 and 3, when I get their product, will be equal to the segments of the other chord and their product. 18 times X would be right as 18X. 9 times 3 is 27, and I can get X alone by dividing both sides by 18. And I'll get X equals 1.5 in this example. Right, let's see if you can apply this on your own. Pause the video here, see if you can find the value of X in this example. All right, let's see how you did. First, we have to recognize we have two chords intersecting in a circle. The segments that are created on each chord, we'll get the products of them and they will be equal to each other. So as we look at this chord, our segments are 7 and 4. The product of those values will be equal to the product of the segments on this chord, which are 6 and X. So it's 6X, 6 times X. 7 times 4 is 28. When we divide X by 6 here, we are going to get, what is that? I think 4.3 recurring, 28 divided by 6, 4.6 recurring for X in this example, right? One more to show you here is just going to increase the level of algebra that's involved here, right? So we have to solve for the length of segment AB. Let me quickly make sure that I didn't miss anything there. You have to solving for X on previous ones. We have to solve for the length of segment AB. So we're looking at two chords intersecting. This chord has an X and an X plus 12. I need the product, so I'm multiplying them together. This chord has an X plus 8 and an X plus 3. I need the product, so I'm multiplying those together. And all that's going to happen here is just a bunch of distribution. Okay, we're going to do X times X to get X squared. We're going to do X times 12 to get 12X. So that's the product of the segments from this chord. Okay, on the other side, all we have to do is distribute one at a time these two values, the X and the 8, into the other parentheses, and we will get the product. So X times X, X squared. We have X times 3, gives me positive 3X. Then we're going 8 times X to get positive 8X, and then 8 times 3 to get positive 24. Then we're continuing our algebra from here. Notice there is an X squared on both sides. Those will cancel each other out by subtracting X squared from both sides. Those cancel. Leaves me with 12X on the left. I can go ahead and combine these over here as well. 3X plus 8X gives me 11X's, and then I still have the plus 24. Now I can get all the x's on the left by subtracting both sides by 11x, and that leaves me with 1x equal to 24, which I can then plug in to my pieces here to find the length of segment AB. So as I plug into x plus 8, I'm just doing 24 plus 8 to get 32. So I know that's 32 units long. As I plug into x plus 3, well, that's my x of 24 plus 3, which gives me 27. So I know that that is 27 units long. And the last I can do, the length of segment AB, it's just segment addition, the 32 plus the 27 to give me 59 units in length for segment AB. Our chords theorem was pretty straightforward, just taking the individual segments and multiplying them together, setting them equal to each other. Our theorems for secants and tangents, though, are a little bit more complex because of the pieces that we have to use in our math, right? So here's the deal. The product of the length of one secant, so the entire secant, and its external segment, which would be the piece that's outside of the circle, the external part, is going to be equal to the product of the corresponding parts from a second secant. Okay, so here's two secants. The whole secants here are AC and AB. The external parts are the ones that are red. Okay, so here's our setup. It's the product of the external piece, so AE from this secant over here, this secant, AE is the external piece, and the entire secant, which is AC. So we're not using the individual parts. We're using only the external part and then the whole thing, AC. That will be equal to the product of the same pieces from the other secant. So as we look at this secant, the external bit is AD. So we need the product of that and the entire secant, which is AB. And this will be how we set up our math when we have two secants for a circle, right? So let's see that in practice here. We're gonna solve for the value of x. We're gonna look at one secant at a time. I like to look at the one that is completed first. And I say, okay, the external piece is 16. I need the product of that and then the entire segment, the entire secant, which is not 24. 24 is the internal piece. The whole thing is 16 plus 24, which is 40. Again, I got that 40 by adding these two together, 24 and 16. That will be equal to the corresponding pieces from the other secant, and then here's where we get tricky. Okay, the external piece is 18 times the entire thing, which again is not x. Remember, we did the sum of these things, so it would be the same here. The sum of x plus 18 would be the entire secant there. And from here, we would calculate our value and do our algebra for x. So 16 times 40 gives me 640 there on the left. And then I'm distributing 18 times x gives me 18x. 18 times 18, or 18 squared, gives me plus 324. I can now get that 18x alone on the right by subtracting 324 from both sides. And that'll give me a value of 316 equal to 18x. And lastly, I can divide both sides by 18 to get the value of x. 316 divided by 18 is going to give me 17.5 recurring, right? From here, we can determine the length of each secant. We already talked about how this one is 40 units long. So one of our secants is 40 units long. We now are able to figure out how long this secant is, right? By getting the sum of 18 and 17.5 recurring, which will be 35.5 recurring for the length of that secant. In this example, we're only solving for x, and here again we have to identify what's going on. We have a circle, we have two secants. Again, we know these are secants because they're going through the circle. They're both inside and outside of the circle, making it a secant. We're gonna look at one at a time. Remember, we're doing the external piece, which we're looking at that bottom secant. The external piece is 8 times the length of the entire secant. 8 plus 7 gives me 15. So I need the product of those values, and that will be equal to the corresponding product from the other secant. The information is a little bit more straightforward here on this one. We have x as the external piece, and the entire secant is 20 units long. So we need the product of those, 20 times x. From there, we're calculating. 8 times 15 gives me 120. I can get x alone now by dividing both sides by 20. X equals 6 in this example. The last theorem we're going to learn here involves a secant and a tangent. So if we have a secant and a tangent intersecting like this in this figure, what we're going to have is the same product for the secant, so the external portion and the entire secant, and that is going to be equal to the square of the length of the tangent segment, okay? So again, for looking at this visual, the tangent is PS, and the square of that tangent will equal the product of the external part of the secant, which is PQ, and the entire secant, which is PR. So PS squared would equal PQ times PR, right? Let's see how we can apply this in this example. We're going to solve for TP. That length is unknown, so you can put an X there. That is the tangent involved. It appears to only touch the circle at point T, so we will assume that it is a tangent. And so the square of that tangent, x squared, will equal the product of the external portion of the secant, which is 25, and the entire secant, which is 34. Again, I got the 34 from doing 25 plus 9, segment addition. And then we're just doing algebra from there. 25 times 34 is 850, which means x would equal the square root of 850, which is about 29.2 when rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay, let's see if you're able to accomplish this on your own now. We're going to solve for x and y here in this. Notice the entire length of AD is 12 units long. That's not just DC, that's AD, 12 units long. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can solve for x and y here on your own. Okay, let's see how we did. We have to recognize AB as a tangent segment because that appears to only touch the circle at point B, so it's safe to assume that it only touches it at point B and therefore is a tangent segment. The square of that tangent will equal the external segment from the secant. So again, this is our secant AD. The external portion is where the x is, so we have just x, times the length of the entire thing, which is 12. So we can write x times 12. We could also just write that as 12x, like so. 9 squared is 81. And I can get x alone now by dividing both sides here by 12. And we get 81 divided by 12, giving us 6.75. Now I can find y with just simple segment addition. That x plus the y has to equal the whole thing, which is 12, right? So we have y plus 6.75 equals 12. You can subtract that 6.75 from both sides and you're going to get 5.25 for y. And our last example here, we again have to have visual recognition. We have a circle, we have a segment that appears to only intersect the circle at one spot. It's safe to assume that that is a tangent. And then we have a secant. We know it's a secant because it's going through the circle. It intersects it twice and it's extending outside. That is a secant. And again, the math is the tangent squared is equal to the external portion of the secant, which is the 10, times the entire secant. So the entire green piece would be the external part plus the internal part. So it would be 10 plus h plus 7 would be the whole secant. And we would do algebra from here. We can go ahead and do the 15 squared is 225. Okay, then there's two things we could do here. I could just distribute the 10 to all the terms in the parentheses, or I could just combine the 10 and the 7 in the parentheses, which is what I would like to do. It looks a little bit better. So 10 plus 7 in there would give me a plus 17 with the h. And then I can distribute my 10 in there. Do 10 times h to give me 10 h's, and then 10 times 17 to give me plus 170. I can then subtract that 170 from both sides to get, let's see, that'd be 55 equal to 10h, and then I can divide both sides by 10 to get h equals 5.5. All right, so we went over 3 chord theorems here for segment relationships and circles. We have to know what's happening when 2 chords are intersecting and what needs to happen with the segments of those chords. We did the same thing with secants, and we learned another theorem with a secant and a tangent. We had to get all these down. You need to practice them to memorize them. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.